Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we're going to learn how to become master builders. Now, wait, we aren't building houses or bridges. We're actually building sentences. Have you ever wondered how writers put words together to make their stories so exciting and just full of detail? Well, today, we're going to unlock the magic behind that. We're talking about phrases and clauses, so let's dive right in. Picture this. You're at school, walking down the hall, and your best friend walks right up to you and asks a super simple, everyday question. Hey, when did you finish your homework? I mean, it's a question we hear all the time, right? Well, you actually have a few different options for how you want to answer that, depending entirely on how much information you feel like sharing. You see, answering a question is kind of like choosing the size of a snack. You basically have three ways to dish out that extra information. First, you could just give a small answer. Yesterday. That is literally just one single word. Next, you could level up to a medium answer. After dinner. That one's a little bit bigger, right? It's more than one word. Or you could go all out and give a big answer. After I finished my dinner. This one is way more detailed and actually tells a complete little mini story. Now, all three of these answers tell your friend exactly when you did your homework. The only difference is just how much extra information you decided to build into them. So, let's figure out exactly how we build those medium and big answers. Let's start by looking at that medium answer. We call this a phrase. Now, let's just forget about complicated grammar rules for a second. I want you to think of a phrase exactly like a handful of toy building blocks. A phrase is simply a small group of words that belong together. But, and this is the absolute golden rule here, a phrase does not have an action happening inside of it. Think about it. Are toy blocks doing anything when they sit on the floor? No, they're just sitting there. Let's build one of these together block by block. Okay, here's our very first toy building block. It just says the word blue. It's a great word, a really great color, but all by itself, it's just one lonely block. Now we add a second block right next to it, car. Oh, okay, we're starting to build something here.
Then, snap, we click on a third block, the word fast. Let's see what happens when we push all these toy blocks together.
The blue fast car. Look at that. When you put them all together, you've literally just built a phrase. It's a group of words that belong together. But ask yourself, is the car zooming down the street? Is it honking its horn? Nope. There's absolutely zero action happening. It's just a group of words chilling together. And that is exactly what a phrase is. You know, a phrase is really only half a story. Imagine if I just walked up to you on the playground and randomly said, on the moon. You would probably look at me like I was crazy and wait for me to finish. You'd be thinking, wait, who went there? What happened on the moon? Because there's no action, the meaning is totally incomplete. You need more pieces to finish the puzzle. So now we're ready for a really cool power-up word, the adverbial phrase. We already know a phrase is a group of words without an action. Well, an adverbial phrase is just a group of words that acts like a super helpful little guide. It gives us extra information by answering specific questions like when, where, how, or why. Let's see how this works in real life. Check out this sentence. The astronauts landed on the moon. If we ask the question, where did they land? What's our answer? On the moon. Those three little words give us extra information about where the action took place. And notice, on the moon doesn't have any action inside of it. So boom, it's an adverbial phrase. It's actually super easy once you know the secret, right? Let's try another one. They worked with great effort. Let's ask our question. How did they work? The answer is, with great effort. Does with great effort have an action word in it? Nope. It just tells us exactly how something was done. That makes it a perfect adverbial phrase. You guys are totally getting the hang of this. Okay, now we are moving on to something even bigger. Step 3. We are upgrading from a phrase to a clause. A clause is also a group of words, but it has a very special superpower. A clause tells a small action or event. Think of a clause as a mini sentence hiding inside a bigger sentence. It absolutely must have an action happening. I want you to imagine two movies playing on a giant screen. Movie 1 is called After Dinner. If you try to watch this movie, well, there's no action, it's just a time on a clock. Kind of boring. That's a phrase. But look at movie 2, After the Family Finished Dinner. Now we have some action. We can literally picture the family sitting around the table, eating their food, wiping their mouths, and finishing their meal. Because there is an action word in there, finished, this group of words is a clause. So what happens if we put our building blocks together with our action movies? We get the adverbial clause.
It's a clause that works exactly like an adverb. It answers the questions when, where, why, or how. But because it's a clause, it brings the action. It gives us a much more complete and detailed picture. Let's watch one of these action movies together.
Here's a great everyday example for us. We stayed inside because it was raining. If I ask you, why did you stay inside? The answer is obviously because it was raining. Now, look really closely at that answer. Is there an action happening in there? Yes, the rain is physically falling from the sky. Raining is an action. So, because it was raining is an adverbial clause. Let's look at a totally awesome example with a rocket ship. The crowd cheered as the capsule opened. Question: when did the crowd cheer? Answer: as the capsule opened. Look at our answer right there. Is there an action happening? Yes, the giant metal capsule is opening up. That is definitely an event happening. Therefore, this is an adverbial clause. It's giving us the when, but bringing its own little action movie right along with it. Now, here is a really common mistake that even older students sometimes make, so listen up. A lot of people think that if a group of words is really, really long, it just has to be a clause. That is completely false. A massive, long group of words is still just a phrase if there's no action in it. It literally doesn't matter how long it is. A clause must have an action happening. Always, always look for the action. That is your golden rule. Let's compare these side by side. Think of this as your ultimate cheat sheet. Look at the first one, in the park. Is an action happening? No. So, it's a phrase. How about after the family finished dinner? Action happening? Yes, they finished. So, it's a clause. With great effort. Any action? No. Phrase. Because it was raining. Action? Yes, raining. Clause. See? You just have to ask yourself one single question. Is an action happening? All right, it is practice time. Can you spot the action? Section 2. Get ready to shout your answers right at the screen. Here we go, rapid fire. First one, on the table. Is it a phrase or a clause? It's a phrase, no action. Next up, because I was hungry. Phrase or clause? It's a clause. Being hungry is a state of being. It's an event actually happening to you. How about with excitement? Phrase. It's just a feeling. There's no action word in there. Last one, before the sun rose. Clause. The sun is physically rising up into the sky. That is most definitely an action. Awesome job, everyone. To wrap up this explainer, I have a really fun challenge for you to take home today. Take a look at this simple phrase, after school. Right now, there's zero action. It's just a regular old phrase. Your challenge is to use your new master builder skills to add some words to it and turn it into an action-packed clause. Maybe something like, after school finished, or after I walked home from school. See what kind of cool ideas you can come up with. Thank you so much for learning with me today, and hey, keep building those amazing sentences.